Hello, this is Jeff Evans taking you through task 2.2 on the AAT Level 3 Synoptic Assessment, Sample 2. It's just gone after 7 o'clock on Wednesday the 24th of April, an hour before kick-off, when Man United will play Man City, so I'll keep my fingers crossed that City give United a good whooping. So let's see if we can manage it within that time frame. Forgive me, my voice is a bit hoarse, but I need to do this tonight. So it says you're Chris Makepeace, a part qualified accounting technician, and you work for New Place, a business which retails office equipment. New Place is owned and run by Mo Hussain. It says you cover all aspects of bookkeeping and accounting for the business, and it said New Place also uses services of Addo & Co, a firm of accountants. It says Kira Jackson is the accountant for Addo & Co, who carries out tasks for the New Place. Okay. It says that New Place holds inventory of office equipment at its 3 separate stores. Identical product lists are being used to perform a stock take at each store, and it said the results are shown in the worksheets labelled Store 1, 2 and 3, and it said Mohammed Hussain or Mo Hussain wants you to identify high value items in inventory and also the value of inventory that New Place holds from non-office furniture suppliers. I'll just get rid of that. Okay. So let's go straight to the task. It says open the worksheet called Summary. It said it lists the inventory items held by New Place. Columns B needs to show the total quantity of each inventory item that New Place holds across the 3 stores. So we need to create a formula, as it said, to link the various worksheets. So I'll give you an example. So for instance, say for the 10 drawer filing cabinets that are grey, we want to link store 1. So they've got 45, store 2 I've got 4, and store 3 I've got 3. Okay, so we need to add all those together by linking the worksheet. So let me show you. So we go equals, and then click on store 1, so 45, plus store 2, and then plus store 3. Okay, and then enter. We can now drag that down, and you'll see that it's added them all up from the various stock lists that they've got in the various stores. So it's just added them across. I'll show you. See all the way down. So it's added them all together. So let's highlight what we're doing. So we've linked those worksheets together. It says in column D, use a formula that calculates the total value of each item, and to include the total value of all the items held in D76. So we need to do the total at that point. So we're going to the summary, and we got the furniture total value, so equals 52 times 899, enter. Okay, and if I just double click on there, it will drag them all the way down to the bottom. So we've done the calculations, as we can see. Let's see what it says on the bottom. So it says in column D, use formulas to calculate the total value of each item. Excuse me, and to calculate the total value of all the items held in D76. So if we go to D76 in here, and we'll do auto sum to add them all together, which gives us 200,132. I can't see what asks us to do those next things, but we'll do them anyway, which is to do with the summary. So in here, we'll do it whilst we're here. So the highest value item, and let's have a look. So if we go equals max, and then we'll double click, but we'll do it over the C column. It's see which is the highest value item that we've got. Close brackets, which is 1120. And it also says items that cost over £500 in inventory. So we'll work out how many are over £500 in total in that particular C column. So I'm going to use count if for this one, so equals count if. Okay, so I'll highlight over the list. So highlight over all of those items of stock. And then we're going to do comma, but we're going to say we have to do this in speech marks, so greater than 500. Close brackets. Oops, sorry, I've done as a point instead of greater than. There you go. So that it's not in pounds, it's in number. So we've got 6 items that cost more than £500. Okay. So we've done that one. And in column D, we've done that. And then it says freeze rows 1 and 2 of the headings so that the headings are always remain visible when scrolling down the list. So the way I tend to do this is if it wants us to leave rows 1 and 2 and freeze everything above that, then I tend to go to the next row, which is row 3, and I'm going to go on to view, and you've got freeze panes. So I'm going to click there, then freeze the panes, and then you'll notice that when I scroll up and down, that 1 and 2 stays frozen. Okay. I'll have to see if my voice makes it to the end of this. Okay. It now says an analysis of the worksheet of the value of inventory that Newholds holds was brought from non-furniture suppliers in a worksheet summary. It says produce a pivot table and chart and table in the new worksheet showing the total value of inventory that was bought in each of the 5 approved suppliers. So it wants the total value of the inventory by the 5 suppliers. And then we're going to pivot it so it excludes DJ Furniture. So let me show you. So let's highlight over the table. Excuse me. And then we're going to insert. Some spreadsheets have got pie charts and tables up here, whereas mine has just got pivot table or pivot chart. So I'll do pivot chart because it does both anyway. So pivot chart. It wants to put it into a new worksheet, so click OK. And then it tells us that it wants the total value of the inventory, and it also wants supplied by. So who is it supplied by? That ain't right. Let's have a look. And it wants all those with the exception of DJ Supplies, doesn't it? So I'll take off DJ Furniture. That's better. Okay. So I'll show you what we've done. So you see what's the total value and then supplied by. And then what we did, because it says in the question, is that we just want those, all of those that are supplied with the exception of DJ Furniture. So we've clicked on there and then we've done that accordingly, as you can see. So let's see, so we've done the pivot table. So it's brought for each of the 5 suppliers, as we can see. And then it says filter the table, which we've just done, to exclude the furniture supplier DJ Furniture. Then it says rename the worksheet and FS and inventory. So we'll rename the worksheet. So right click, rename, and it's NFS Inventory. Have we done that? Yep. And it says he wants to change the chart type to a 3D exploded pie chart. So again, I do know from experience that some of these spreadsheets or some of these versions of Excel will have a exploding 3D pie chart, but we haven't on this computer. So I'm going to go on to the design, and I'm going to change the chart type, and I'm going to change it to a pie chart. And on mine you can see I've only got these options here. So I've got pie in 3D, which is what I'm going to use. What's that one? Oh, that one is so this one has got the exploded pie chart in 3D. Some of them don't. So if they don't, then you can use that pie chart, and then you can spread them out. I'll show you. See, I'll just show you. So if I click on these, so you see it highlights the three, or those three segments, I suppose. So if I just click on one, I can move it out. See? As I say, some of them don't have exploding pie chart on. Mine does. So I'll go back and change the chart type, and I'll do it to a 3D exploding pie chart, which is that one, and then click OK. And you see it split it for me. Again, as I said before, some of them don't, so you can move them accordingly. So exploding pie chart, we've done that. I feel as though I've missed something. Let's have a look. Pivot chart, that's fine. Yep. Then it says add the following title to the chart. So total inventory. So I'm going to highlight that heading, copy it, and then go back to my chart where it says total. I'll take the total out, and then I'll just put in the title as it asks me to. Let's make it look a bit neater. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, I think that's it. Let's just double check. Pivot chart, we've done that, and then rename it, that chart title, that's fine. Sometimes it says to make sure that they are in alphabetical order. See these labels here? So you can do that in a number of ways. You can do it where if I click on supplied by, see, I could do it from Z to A, see? Or I'll do it back from A to Z. So sometimes it allows you to organise them accordingly. So I think we've done that. Yeah. It now says open the summary worksheet. Kira Jackson wants you to ensure that whoever completes the worksheet can only use the approved suppliers in rows column G to E. So let's have a look at the summary worksheet. So the approved suppliers are these from G here, from G3 down to G7. So these are the approved suppliers. Let's go back, see what it's asking. So we need to apply data validation in the range E3 to E90 to only use the approved list of suppliers shown in G3 to G7. Okay, let's have a look. So back to summary, and it just wants to use these suppliers from, let's do it first. Let's go into data. In fact, sometimes we just highlight over column E and then go into data, and we're going to go into data validation. So to data validation, and it says any value, we're going to change it to a list. Okay, so we're going to change it to a list, and it then asks you the source of the list. So we'll click on the source, which is these here, so these suppliers, so that people can't mess about with it. And it also says, I'll just double check. Oh yeah, so it says only the supply list we said before, cells G3 to G9 are protected. So we'll do that in a minute. Okay, I'm going to check that out again now because let's do that again. Because I clicked on that other file, so let's go back. Inventory summary. Let's have a look where we're at. So it's the list, and then the source, which is here, and then only use from the approved list. Okay, and then you'll see it let me use any of these suppliers, so we can change them. If I try and type something in, it won't allow me to, okay, because it was only those that are protected from that list. Okay, so we've applied data validation. Only the list approved suppliers in G3 to G7 to be selected from the drop down list. And now it says when G3 to G7, cells G3 to G7 are protected with the password 123. It says when any of the cells in range E3 to E90 is chosen, the message should say please choose from the drop down list. I've jumped on a little bit, but you can see what we need to do. It stops the users manually entering a supplier that is not on the approved list. So we need to protect G3 to G7 now. Okay, so when it comes to protection, you basically need to highlight, I tend to highlight all of the worksheet, okay, and then format cells, and you'll see that Excel automatically, when it comes to protection, it automatically locks the cells, okay? So we're going to unlock all of the cells, okay? So we'll unlock the cells, and then what we're going to do is we're going to highlight over those that we want to approve, and we are going to go on to protection. So review. It's on review. So we're going to protect the worksheet. Okay. That's what I need to do. Sorry, I forgot. So for these on the list now, so everything has been unlocked. I'm going to lock these again now. So I'm going to format the cells, and this time I'm going to lock those approved suppliers. Okay. So when I go on to protect worksheet now, you'll see it says password protect, says protect the worksheet and contents of locked cells. So for those cells that are locked, which are those here, then I'm going to create a password 123. Okay, and then 123. Click OK, and then you'll see it won't let me do anything in there. It'll let me move around with these figures, but it won't let me do anything in that in those cells that are locked. So we've done that. And now it says you're required to complete the extended trial balance for new place for the year ending 31st of May 2008. It says some of the information from the ledger accounts has already been populated in the extended trial balance. Worksheet named ETB. So we've got the extended trial balance here. We've got a bit of information we can't see there, so let's make sure we can see all the information. Yeah. the extended trial balance. So it says, however, some of the figures were placed in a text file, and as a result, some of the ledger balances are missing. So it says, open the worksheet called Sheet 2, which is that I'll show you in a second. And it says in cell D4, in the subtotal worksheet, so I'll do that again. It says open the worksheet called Sheet 2 and then rename it Subtotal. So I'll do that in a second. It then says in cell D4 in that worksheet, we're going to import the text file. I've saved it as a data file and I'll show you how to do that. You can equally download it. So when you're on the AAT website, you can download the text file, so it's a web link, and you can also download it as a web link. I'll show you as I'm doing it. Okay, so let me start again. So if we go into the sheet 2, I'm going to rename it Subtotal. So rename Subtotal. Okay, and it said in D4. So I'm going to import or insert the text file. I'll show you. So if we go into data, okay, so I was saying before, I can do it from a text. I'll show you mine. I've got a text file, so I'll show you where it is. I've got it in this file here. I've just saved it under here, this sample 2.2, which is a data file. So I'm going to download that in a second. But equally, I could do it from the website. So from the AAT website, if I've got it open and I've got the data file open as a link, then I can just cut the link or paste the link into the spreadsheet or into the file. So again, I'm going to use the text. So from the text into D4, so double click, and I'm going to make sure, so just download it straight into D4, and you'll see it's got all of the information that we need. So the purchase of goods for resale, shop wages, admin costs, so on and so forth, and then we've got the rent and raise. So let's see, so we've downloaded the text file. And then it says use copy and paste link to copy the amount of purchases, wages and administration into the relevant cell in the ledger balance columns in the extended trial balance. So let's have a look. So for the extended trial balance, we've got purchase for goods for resale. So purchase 1, 2 and 3. So I'm going to highlight those. So goods, so I'm going to copy. Go to the extended trial balance. And then paste link. So paste, then you'll notice on the right hand column I've got paste link. And then the next one is for the shop wages. So let's go to the shop wages, grade 1 and 2, copy. I could have copied them all over there, couldn't I? Anyway, so paste link. And then we've got the admin costs and admin salaries. So admin costs, copy, and admin salaries. And then paste. And you'll see it's put them into the profit loss account. So on and so forth. Okay, let's see where we're up to. So we've done the paste link. So we'll highlight over that. And now it says in the subtotal worksheet, use the appropriate function to subtotal the rents and rates figures in the range D13 to F21 for each, changing items, that should be there, use a sum function to add a subtotal to the cost column. So let me show you. So I'm going to highlight over the table here. And then if I go into data, and we've got subtotal here. So if I click on subtotal, and I've got the cost, then click OK, and then you'll see that it puts them, does the subtotals of each, the rent, so on and so forth. Sometimes in some of the questions it'll ask you to do the formula, so I'll show you that formula. The table's done it for you automatically, but I'll show you what. If you go equals subtotal, they won't substitute, sorry, subtotal. This is what we had to do it in the previous year, so it's number 9, which is the sum. Okay, so I'm going to click on number 9, and then column, and then I'm going to highlight over the sum of those the rent data, and then you'll see. So it's just another way of going over it, of creating the subtotal column. It's quite handy, really, as I say, because if you do equals subtotal, so you get a variety of things like the count if I did before, the count, or standard deviation, or sum of, or the average. So there's quite a few things you can do through the subtotal function. Anyway, by the by, so if I just take that off, so we've got the subtotals for the rent and for the rates. So let's see what it wants us to do. So use copy and paste link again for the rent total and the rates total. So let's go to the extended, let's go subtotal, and we'll go rent, so copy, and then to the extended trial balance, paste link, and then to the rates, copy, paste link. Okay, so we put all the information in there that we've got. So we've done the subtotal, and we've paste linked the rent and rates. It now says in the extended trial balance worksheet, format all currency cells to the accounting style in whole numbers and no decimal places. So the currency cells in accounting format. So we highlight over all of the numerical data, and then right click and format cells, and this time it is accounting. So click on the accounting tab, no decimal places, then click OK. Make sure you can see all the data in the columns as it says, which is fine. So we can see all the data. So we've done that. And it now says that the extended trial balance was constructed badly by a person who has since left the business. It says the correct figure for the profit for the year, so profits for the year, has been calculated at 384,890, and it says insert this figure into the relevant cells in the extended trial balance. Okay, so this is the profit figure, and so you'll know from your you'll know from your advanced bookkeeping course that if you go to your profit figure, and it's your balancing figure, so your income being more than your expenditure, so the profit figure is 384,890, and then over to your profit and loss account, to your balance sheet, 384,890, enter. Let's have a look. Still not balancing because there's something wrong. Okay, so the correct figure was 384,890. It says as well as the ledger balance omissions, which you've completed in part D, so there are 2 errors in the last 4 columns of the extended trial balance, so the columns cannot balance. So you need to use your relevant spreadsheet skills together with your accounting knowledge to locate the errors and correct them. I could leave you to that now, couldn't I? But I won't, because I need to get it done, because it's past. Let's have a look. So when we go along and have a look at the issues that could be, so let's have a look at the adjustments. So when it comes to the purchases, let's see. So 1342460. The adjustment means we should have added 2780, which is what we've done, so that's fine. Then we've got the admin costs, which is 84670. On the debit side, obviously an expense, and then the adjustment was for 1450. So it looks like they've added it. I know they've added it rather than take it away, you see. So they should have taken it away. So if I just change that, so B18 minus E18, that'll put that right. So I'll show you how it balances in a minute. So equals. So look, I'll show you how it now balances in the profit loss account. But we're still out on the statement of financial position. Okay, so you need to use your accounting knowledge. So what do you think? Okay. It's to do with this. I'll show you. It's to do with the accrual, okay? So you got the accrual, so the adjustment, obviously on the credit side, be a current liability in your statement of financial position, but they've put it as a debit, so they've debited it instead of crediting it. So that's the reason why it doesn't balance. So we're simply going to cut and paste it into the correct position, and then you'll see now that it balances. See, 15859.80, and your statement of profit loss account also balances. Okay, so we've done that, and we've used our spreadsheets and accounting skills to find out where the issues were even, and that's it. So the very best of luck. I'm going to change that because when I have a look at the videos that were produced, you see the yellow bits, don't you? So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to clear that. No fill. Because it looks better like that. And that's it. So the very best of luck.